Bring in Anahita Sedaghatfar here. She practices civil litigation in both federal and state courts.
Yes.
And the question here becomes 3 to 10 years. We kind of knew what was going on there. He could have served 30 years, but this was concurrent instead of consecutive.
Yes.
So he could be out as early as two years and 9 months.
He has to serve at least 3, at least 80% of the 3, but he can get out before the 10. So yes, there is some uncertainty here. And wow, the world is watching this. You know, Cosby was not just America's dad, but this is the first trial, celebrity trial, that we've seen in the Me Too era. And the judge, I can imagine, had a ton of pressure on him to do the right thing. He had a lot of discretion, and he seems to have exercised that discretion. There was no minimum. The judge could have given him 0 up to 10 years. So it seems like he kind of went on the lower end here.
We saw Bill Cosby walk out. I mean, the image is going to be on the front page of every paper in the country tomorrow and all over the news tonight. Bill Cosby walking out in handcuffs. Was there any chance this judge did not remand him in custody?
No. The judge found him to be a violent sexual predator. He made that ruling. What that means is the judge believed that he was going to reoffend, in a violent way. And so when you try to make the argument as the defense attorney, Your Honor, let him out on house arrest pending appeal, not a good argument, because the judge has already ruled he's a risk. He's a risk to society. So there was no possibility he was going to get, you know, off on house arrest pending the appeal.
Anahita, stand by, if you will. We just want to kind of get you the table set. Far cry from what happened when the actual verdict came down on Anahita Sedaghatfar, because he screamed at the prosecutor, called him a blank hole, right? And today, he's sent to prison and no emotion at all.
I'm not surprised at that because, look, he has made it clear they're going to appeal. So anything that he would have said in that courtroom could be used against him. And so I'm not surprised if his lawyer said, you're not going to make any statement, you're not going to beg for leniency. What I am shocked about is that his family wasn't there to sort of speak to the judge and plead to the judge on his behalf. We would have liked to see his wife. That could have possibly swayed the judge in giving him some more leniency than he did. So that was shocking. The fact that Bill Cosby didn't talk, not shocking. We know they're already setting up the appeal. His publicist made a statement that they used doctored evidence against him. We know that another grounds for appeal is the fact that this judge allowed 5 alleged victims to testify in this trial. That's prior bad acts evidence, and that is arguably a ground to get this entire conviction appealed.
What about the designation of violent sexual predator? Because if he gets out in 2 years and 9 months or 3 years or 4 years, whatever it's going to be, there are hoops to jump through because of that designation. Any chance that can be part of an appeal to get that lowered?
Yes, they will appeal the conviction. That will be part of it. And you're right, there are serious ramifications when you are designated as a violent sexual offender. Bill Cosby is going to have to register for the rest of his life as a sex offender, not for a limited time. He's going to have to get counseling for the rest of his life, and it's just not a good mark to have on you. Certainly, that's going to be part of the appeals process. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's going to be a ground to get the conviction overturned, but the fact that 5 prior, alleged victims testified, that could be a grounds.
Yeah, it could be. Anahita, stand by, if you will. Let's bring in a reporter who was back on, Michael Sisak, a reporter for the Associated Press. We'll get his insight in a minute. Quickly to Anahita Sedaghatfar, what happens? He goes to prison. Is he in the general population? I mean, I can't imagine Bill Cosby walking around in an orange jumpsuit with the general population.
Right. It's going to be up to the jail to decide. From now on, it's in their hands. It's not in his attorney's hands. It's not in the judge's hands, nor is it up to the prosecution. But I mean, what a dramatic image that is to see Bill Cosby, America's dad, 81 years old. He looks frail. He can't see, walking out in handcuffs. I mean, I think this is an image that he will always be remembered by. And Trace, there were some passionate arguments today in court. You had the prosecution saying, Your Honor, he is going to reoffend. You've got to remand him. You've got to give him a higher sentence. And then you have the defense saying, Your Honor, he's 81 years old. He's ill. He's blind. How is he going to victimize anyone else? So good arguments on both sides here.
And the arguments will continue because the appeal process is now underway.
It's just beginning, Trace.
Yeah, and they're not doing it in court. They're also doing it in the court of public opinion, saying, look, the evidence was doctored. We got a lot more to come.
Right.
Michael, thank you very much. Anahita Sedaghatfar, 10 seconds. I mean, final thoughts. Bill Cosby, handcuffs.
It's done. It's powerful. Very powerful image, powerful press conference. I think this is a victory not just for Ms. Constand, but all of Cosby's other alleged victims and really all other victims of sexual assault. We are in a new era. This is the Me Too era. Victims will be believed. They will receive justice, and they should speak out and tell their truth.
Anahita Sedaghatfar, thank you so much.
Thank you.